and then having that time, the summer, to go to, you know, Greece, Turkey, Canada, Costa Rica.
It's a big thing.
Yeah. Now, and that's what celebration looks like.
Yeah.
That's how you can have the grand gesture of celebration, not this whole like go out every weekend because, you know, you got an A on a test or something. I mean,
what's good, everybody? Welcome to Behind Closed Doors podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Quavy. And man, today, bro, I got a good guy today, man. Big Huncho, Thomas Chatman. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. Thomas, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing fantastic.
You're doing good. The beer's you're still intact, bro.
I appreciate
Keep it up. Man, Thomas is the CEO of VSN. He is also the former president of Development of Color. It's a thing at campus right now. We're trying to help men of color grow both personally and professionally. He's also the current secondary advisor at Development of Color and used to be an IT security intern with Dell. That's really great. That's really great. You have a really good track record. But on the part of that, reason why I had you on, man, is because of your mindset. I'm not gonna lie, your mindset is really big. One thing I aspire to like grow more towards is like the discipline and things behind your nature. So, man, but tell us about yourself. Like, what's one of the earliest memories you had of yourself to where you grew to who you are today? Like, what's an early memory that grows onto you and you're still Thomas today?
Yeah. Thank you for the introduction,
Always,
Steph.
man.
Definitely appreciate it, and I appreciate being here. So one of the earliest memories that like kind of makes me mirror was defining towards me. I will say one of the earliest memories that I have that was defining or eye-opening was I would say, and I always talk about this moment to where I was working at a pool company my sophomore year summer, going in my junior year, and working at this pool company. I had been promoted to like a supervisor for this summer job. Yeah, I thought, look, I thought it was, the craziest thing ever. I thought I was really getting money. I had just started business, so I was able to, start putting money into that. When I was working like 60 hours a week. I had like a company car. I thought I was really balling. I had to go from Suffolk to, all the way to Chesapeake, to all the way up to Norfolk to handle pools. And so I called Dr. Good, Dr. Good, the current advisor, primary advisor for DMC. And I told him that I was going to leave school. And so that's like the earliest memory of me, like, in the moment of where where we say we don't know what we don't know. And in that moment, I felt as if I knew. And so that was like the most, that could have, made or broken my life. So, that's probably like the earliest defining moment for me, because that definitely changed everything that you've mentioned has come after that.
It's like a 180 switch. I don't even know how you do it. That's rare, bro. You don't see that for most people to make that 180 switch. And that's one of the things I want to get into. Like, you say your Dr. Gill was an influence in your life. Like, what drove you ultimately to making that switch? Like, was it just one guy or Dr. Gill, or was it other people as well that tapped in, was like, Thomas, you got to lock in?
Yeah. To be completely honest, I don't 100% know, because the thing is about it, right? I went through a lot of, different tribulations. I got a lot of different help, but so do a lot of people, you know what I mean? So a lot of people go through things. A lot of people get a lot of things, handed to them, given to them, have great people in their lives, and they, still mess up. So it's something I would say, deep down within me that, I always had something just to kind of prove. So I remember I'd be in rooms with Dr. Good and one of my good friends, Ali, and they were talking about networking. They were asking me like, hey, if you need a letter of recommendation, who would you call? And there was a moment, and I said, I didn't know, because I was like, I don't talk to my professors. I don't know them professionally. And so in that moment, a lot of people could either, take that as like disrespect and a reason to give up. Or you can take that and internalize it and be like, okay, I need to, get on top of everything I'm doing. So in that moment, I think a lot of different factors, Dr. Good absolutely was one. Like I mentioned, my good friend Ali, the guys that I have done business with along the way.
Helped you, like mentors.
Absolutely.
Came through.
Stepping stones.
Yeah. Stepping stones are really big. And I feel like what like before that, what before the 180, like just to give everybody background, like your first early years of college, how was that for you? Like who was Thomas before then?
Yeah, the first,
because I know when first my early years, bro, I was BSing, bro. I was lost.
I mean, weren't we all like?
I was lost.
You know, you get to college, you know, and that's that's a new environment, you know, where you're less contained in that high school setting, and so you get to college and you're just you just want to start doing everything.
Yeah,
and so that was me for the first 2 months, you know, before my freshman year was when COVID hit in the spring semester, but like fall, you know, I was. For the first, like right when I got here, I mean, I was, having a swell time.
A swell time.
I was having a really wonderful time.
Yeah, partying.
Just, I went to. I was definitely at a few parties. That's also when, things started to kind of like decline. Yeah, because I didn't like the party scene. After a while, they didn't party like they did back at home.
It gets boring.
Yeah, it gets boring. I don't drink. I never drunk or smoked. Then my friends started to drop out of school. My first 2 friends that I had here on campus, they left. And so after that, it got to, I was really introverted. I'm always introverted, but then it was like,
I don't see that, bro.
Amazing.
Yeah, I don't see that.
It's like, again, part of the being extroverted is like it's a forced thing. I personally like being to myself, but I do know to get places you have to, you have to
talk a little bit.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what ultimately drove you to making that switch? Because this probably was like something. Because if I was, not having the best way of life, because I know my switch, I got rejected by one girl who was like mid. And bro, for me, bro, I was like, bro, if I can't even like work on myself, if I'm focused too much on ladies, like I'll lose my head, like my perspective. I didn't come here for women. I came here for school.
Absolutely.
And the businesses I wanted to do. So I prayed about it, got my head on straight, and started like seeing what I could do and started implementing ideas and started growing. Like I want more out of life. So
absolutely.
So I just made that switch.
Right. You made the switch off of the women, or?
No, maybe a little bit at first, but then I locked in.
Okay.
Then I locked in.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I think the switch for me, the initial switch was, I played sports all throughout high school. I played 3 sports. I played soccer, basketball, lacrosse every season.
Yeah.
And I felt like, I deserved a chance to play. In college, I felt like I deserved a chance to play professionally. That was my identity. That was who people knew me as.
Yeah, the soccer.
Soccer. And even though I played other sports, it was still, it was always I was going to do something. And then my mom didn't know I wanted to play in college, and so we had a conversation with my school counselor. And she was like, she asked me if I wanted to play, and I was like, I didn't put in all these years. I was like, there's no way you don't. I had some, I was upset. I was upset at the world. Like, how do you? I've been playing all my life, and we don't know. And so when I got to college, or at that moment, I had done a switch. Like I had put every ounce of my energy into training for soccer, going out to tournaments, going and playing. Like I was out there in the snow. Like I was. And then to come to VCU, and it was like my last chance. My pride and ego were too big to go to a D3 or something. Or I had offers from some D3 schools. Yeah. And but all I had for VCU was I talked to the coach. He said to come out to this camp and see. And so never have I been humbled so quickly. Never have I had a pride hit like that to where it's like my entire life has been one thing. Like I've been playing soccer since I was 3-4 years old. Then to come to VCU and it's like all of it's on the line. I was so nervous. I couldn't even perform right. So that like reality hit, we talked about like losing your identity. That was my identity. It was stripped away in a matter of, seconds. Like I was playing bad and I was like, I don't know who I am outside of this. And now you better take it away.
That's hurts. Yeah, heartbreaking, bro. Yeah, identity, man. It's big things. So like once you made that 180 switch, what was like the first baby steps or steps you took to enhance your lifestyle? Like, what did you start working on? What vows did you make? What sacrifices you had to go through to be where you are now, established like this?
So the first thing that I did was I started business. Like, that was the only thing that, and again, it's like, I can't sit here and say that's what was destined to happen.
Yeah,
it was just like, that was just at the, my friends that I had around me, they were like, all right, let's do clothing. And like, I don't have no other identity. I'm in school. I don't like school. I don't play sports anymore professionally. So what else is there for me to do? My friend said, let's do clothes. So that was the first thing. I was like, let's start business. And I'm so lucky in that moment. I didn't have no identity or I had no ego, because it was like, people's problem is execution. A lot of people struggle with, or not people's problem, but a lot of people struggle with execution. Or like doing things. I didn't care. I was, I throw the clothes on the ground, take a picture of it and say, who, $25, who wants to buy it?
Who wants to buy it?
Yeah.
You're raw with that.
Exactly. And the thing is, you can look at me now with that, like, you wouldn't expect me to put a shirt on the ground and ask people who wants to, buy. And I went to Michael's and, what's it called? You do the iron press, the heat press joint on there.
Oh, you went through the rough.
Yeah, no, I was doing insane things, but it was like I was trying to find myself.
Yeah.
So like, that's where it started. Was I started a clothing brand with my friends.
So, yeah, it's clothing brand. It's like it's hard to start a business too. There's a lot of factors. Like you gotta face that uncomfortability of like you're trying something new, especially you being having problems with like finding your identity, who you were. I feel like it's definitely challenging, but that's brave of you to get out there and actually try doing something to figure out who you are. So what sacrifices did you have to make, dude? Because, not much college students your age would be ready to make that sacrifice. Like, oh, I'm gonna stop doing this. I gotta stop doing that. I gotta lock in.
Yeah. So there's a couple of sacrifices I made unconsciously. Now, one, I was very glad. Again, I never enjoyed parties. I never drunk, smoked, any of that. So I mean that was easy to not be a part of. But one of the sacrifices was definitely family. I definitely lost a lot of time with my my loved ones, because in the process of finding myself, I didn't let people in that. So like when I say I am introverted, that's what I mean. Like if it came down to it, when I was in that point, it was all to me. What I mean? Like when I was at school, I wasn't coming home. I wasn't, I was barely calling back home. I was, I needed to find myself, and there was nothing that was about to get in my way, stop me. And the thing is, it wasn't like I consciously knew. It wasn't like I was thinking about it. Let me call somebody. I miss Thanksgiving dinner. I mean? Like I went and did
Thanksgiving.
I went and did a photo shoot that night. It would,
Do you regret it looking back, missing out that time to do that and spend time with your family with that one? No, because I would have never known the feeling of missing out, or I would have never known the importance of family. Oh, that was big. Yeah. I like that.
I don't regret anything, anything in life. That's a teaching moment. So, I mean, I apologize that I did it.
Yeah, he apologizes, guys. Yeah. Please spare him the grace, man.
But I wouldn't have never understood unless I did that.
I think that's really big, because when you're going through that new change, it's scary, and you had to learn a lot by yourself. And I think that's brave for most people to do. So, how long did it take for your loved ones or your friends or outside influences to recognize this new version of Thomas? Like, because that could take a while. People were like, "Oh, Tommy, how you doing, bro? Bro, I'm not that same guy. I'm not the same guy doing parties with you. I'm a different guy now." Like, how'd that go for you?
Yeah, it's so I think again, it's different with like friends. Like it's easier for friends to to kind of let go of certain friendships and gain new ones, and that's a constant journey. Like there's not many people from my past in which were bad for me, or that I didn't. They didn't know who the old me versus the new me was. And so that's a lot easier. But the thing and the reason I do value family, I really do love my family, is because even when I thought that they wouldn't understand the new me, or when I thought they wouldn't support me, and that's the reason I even took so long to tell my mother about things I was doing is that they love me regardless. You know what I mean? Like regardless of what I do, even they know that I don't like school. They know I want to just get through. I want to work for myself. They know I'm a business guy. I never thought in a million years my mother would. Even back when I used to do music art shows and have to at concerts where people are rapping and my mother showed up there, my father would it really is a blessing that they would support regardless. So it's like the good thing is when it came to loved ones, the reason I do love them is because it didn't matter the old me versus new me, and this new me is a much better version than that.
I see it, bro. Definitely a new better version, man. I feel like that new version takes a lot of time, but having those people that support you as well, like when you're going through hard times, stick on those people. Like you gotta like be present in the moment, see what's in front of you, because they're still there for you at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
So did it change how like people treated you, like your friends, or like did they switch up in their behavior somehow? More respect, or more like, oh, I'm gonna shy away from Brody, which they shouldn't have done. I'm not gonna lie.
But, I mean, it's interesting. Certain people, definitely, I would say, I wouldn't say that people acted differently. People acted the same. I was the one, in a lot of situations, I was different, and so, that's also the problem is, we do, we tend to hold on to, those things that we need to grow from, and I think that's the premise. I did grow out of a lot of friendships, and so it wasn't that people were treating me differently. It was that they were treating me the same that I would have, accepted in the past. They treated me as if I was still that guy, and I'm not mad at it. I don't hold any resentment towards anyone. Yeah, but for sure, the people that are still here, I've grown with. The people that aren't there, that's just they didn't grow.
I feel that. Yeah. It definitely, when you're making like a new change to yourself, your circle of influences also absolutely also change, because you start surrounding yourself around mentors and friends that also think and like you. So that's the people. That's what they tell me, bro. The circle changes. So like when you made that switch going up as well, was there any setbacks, like step backs? Because if I'm making a whole 180 switch, I'm thinking like, all right, I'm gonna mess up sometimes. I'm gonna get distracted sometimes. But I know I still see the goal. But what were the setbacks, and how did you learn how to course correct around them?
Yeah, it's a million setbacks, mistakes that I could, delve into.
Life is just practice, man.
That is. And the thing is, you just can't, I've never looked at a mistake or a loss as a bad thing, or like I said, there's situations when it came to DMC and me building my presence there. My first time speaking at the mixer, I was nervous. People could tell I was nervous. I was, scared. I had, all the jitters in the world. When it came to business, I done showed up to photo shoots. My camera's not working. I done showed up to, people done order clothes and like, I don't have the inventory. I can't make it. I done messed it up, and I don't have the, it's a million setbacks, and it's like I just couldn't let it deter me. It was like every time it was like, okay, so I can't do that next time. I'm not the type to dwell on the past. For sure. At all, really. Sure. After something happens, what's the solution? I'm not the type that we make a mistake and I'm sitting there mad at the mistake. Like, you can't do that.
Yeah, it's like when you're on the road, like you're driving, and then you have to recorrect your road. Like, you might veer a little bit, and you have to recorrect, go on the same path, stay in your lane. Yeah. So keep it that way.
Absolutely. Gotta look forward.
Yeah, guys, man. We gotta get into our segment piece of the podcast, man. This is a beautiful piece right here. Let me tell you why. Cause we talk about the hot topics today. You feel me, man? Today, YSL. Ooh. What are they talking about in court, bruh? I'm not gonna lie, like Young Thug is really put his lawyer. We gotta shake that man's hand, but I don't know what the hell he's saying.
Yeah.
Bro, Young Thug was posted up with I'll put the video right, or the picture right here. He was posted up this way, right, like right here with his hands in the P position or something, like a gang sign. Yeah. Now I'm not gang affiliated, guys. Just remember that. But what happened in this area, they're trying to say that pushing P, he was just putting like a phrase for pushing P. Yeah. That's not pushing. He said pushing positivity. So what do you think about the YSL trial, how the lawyers making mistakes and like trying to say something that the trial is really not?
Well, my thoughts on the trial. I think my whole thought on the entire thing is that
give me it, Thomas.
I think we glorify the wrong things.
Okay.
I'm very far left on this idea, like, and it's gonna sound a little crazy, but like,
Nah, go ahead.
the whole. I mean, again, I hear the whole. People are saying free thug and free this, free that.
Talk to him, bro.
And I'm not gonna lie, like, the charges he is, at least what I've seen, right? I'm always down to hear, criticism or whatever towards it. But from what I understand, we're talking about murdering. We're talking about gang affiliations, possession of, illegal weapons, things of that nature. And it's like our people, my people are getting online saying free this, free that. It's like, I don't know what's going on with the minds of us, but we're glorifying the wrong things, and then we'll get, we'll turn a finger when the opposite things happen. That's my general idea of it. Now, when we get down into the specific situation of what's going on, the lawyers, I mean, the lawyer, I think that, he's, they cut him a very nice check.
Oh, very.
He went out there and he had to do exactly what he had to do. I don't know if, I don't work in that realm. I don't know how,
Yeah.
I don't know if the judges think that's what's gonna work. I don't know how logically it's gonna hold up.
Bro.
But truly humbled under God,
Thomas.
being what Young Thug stands for,
Yeah,
is really interesting.
Guys, I have never seen something like this. I'm not gonna lie. Before, I've been in the free thug and free gunner chance. I'm not gonna lie to you, just because I like the music. But I never really looked at the charges. Like, I just went with the crowd. If I'm not gonna lie, and I'm starting to see, like, there's something bigger to these stories.
Absolutely.
Like, if you look at it, they had crimes before in the past as well. So we're supporting their crimes as well. Absolutely. If we're just saying free thug, free gunner.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? They did some things that are bad. So we gotta take a consideration. I followed the crowd, I'm not gonna lie to you. But we should, like, do more research on it. I would say do more research on any topic you are on, and don't platform everything you see.
Yeah.
I would say.
But yeah, that's all, again, in our community. I mean, we do, when it comes to the music, like you said, you like the music, you're gonna glorify and the back end of that is like, we're almost saying it's okay to get away with, certain things we're doing. It's like, even I would be looked at a bad guy for just saying that, or just like being like, hey guys, maybe we should halt on the, or just look at it a different way. I'm not gonna go out and publicly say, like, not free him, or I don't care that much. But I will say I won't personally post free thug. And, you know what I mean? And, with him doing what he's, doing.
Wait, do you listen to his music though?
Yeah, I like Thug's music.
Okay. All right, good.
I love Thug's music.
Thug be hitting, man. Gunna is good too. Gunna's the best rapper. Gunna, if you see this, man, come on the podcast, man. We'll see you. Thomas, man, back on topic though. I feel like we have a lot of things that we like to look at. Like, we're talking earlier about internships, like wins with internships. So what's the importance of celebrating your wins? Have you ever really done it really well? Or when it passes, you struggle with celebrating your wins because you felt like you don't want to, like, overshun your friends and things. Sometimes I feel that insecurity, like, I don't want to, like, overshun my friends and make them feel bad. But I'm starting to realize if I don't celebrate it, then what am I shooting for? You know?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very interesting you say that. Yeah. I never celebrated wins.
Oof.
I never celebrate wins.
Never.
I was never. I don't like celebrate. I still don't really. It's not that I don't like celebrations now. It's just I didn't understand the purpose of it, and I also I was with the idea of everyone else's celebration, like, go out and drink, have fun, like, dude. I wasn't indulged, and that's what a celebration was partly, but also I was running from something versus, like, chasing the actual dream. It was like I was trying to find myself so fast. It was like I would see things or I would receive things, and it just never was enough. And it wasn't because of the things I was getting. It was because what I was trying to fix wasn't, it wasn't about that. It wasn't about receiving an internship. It wasn't about a certain amount of money. It wasn't about that. It was just all like I had something I wasn't facing. So nowadays I do think it's important to celebrate. I think it's everything, balance is a good thing. I think that, when it comes to celebrating,
I want to get into that. Yeah.
You don't want to get too like stuck in that period of time. Like you don't want, and that's the dangerous. It's not really too dangerous for me because I don't ever get stuck in a period. I don't enjoy celebration enough, but I think that people get, if you get too indulged in the going out and the having fun, or even the type of celebration that you have. If you get too into that, you're gonna lose yourself.
Oh, bro, I love that you mentioned the type of celebration. I feel like the type of celebration is really what you can compare and contrast. Do you want a pear or do you want a pickle? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I think you want a pear and a pickle.
That's crazy.
Well, pickle, but basically, the way you celebrate your wins is something I admire because I know, knowing you personally, I know you don't go out like that, right? Yeah. And this summer, I'm not gonna lie, bro, you was looking like you was living like a celebrity, bro.
Yeah.
And I think is a test to your judgment, but your hard work and success in grinding, putting your head down, doing your hard work, and celebrating in the biggest way possible.
Yeah.
That's the biggest present that most people want.
Absolutely.
But what's the thing about that's holding people back from like really putting their head down and celebrating wins in the biggest stage? Because bro, you mind if I tell them?
Not good.
Bro, this man went to a Drake concert, Beyonce concert in a week. He traveled to I was so happy. Costa Rica, bro. He went to Costa Rica, bro. He went to other places too. I don't know what other places you went to.
Yeah, Greece,
Turkey,
Canada.
Santorini, guys, Canada. But come on, like those are the ways we all want to celebrate those wins, right? So how do we do it? How do we like stick through? Like, if I just keep working hard right now, like I can celebrate like in the future.
So what I've seen, and I've dealt with a lot of situations where people tend to ask me, how do you have fun? Or like, because I don't celebrate in the same way or do the same things other people do.
Yeah.
They're confused as to how I have fun. And I really am glad you asked about it because I've been meaning to just get it off my chest. Like,
thank you, bro.
I remember, as I was going through the semester, I'm not all the way in this instant gratification or like grand or like every weekend doing something just because or just for any people come with any reasons like we're young or we're just why not or anything. People say anything in terms of why they should just go out and just not do their work, put forth effort towards their future. And so with that, like again, for me it wasn't difficult because the end goal is what I have in mind, like, and I've had glimpses of like I'll take things for I have glimpses of going to certain stores and it's like I want to be able to buy all this stuff or I go to I see other places I can travel to, and it's like if I want to get to that, I know what I have to do. And so the summer was a perfect example because people ask me all year, like, how do you have fun? Why are you doing, why are you on Saturday in the library doing homework, yada, yada. And it's like, I can't express to them. I remember I even told this I told one person, I was like, well, I like to travel. I like to, bowl, I like to learn new things. And she was like, that's not fun. Or she tried to tell me that what I like, and that was insane. It was truly amazing. She was like, that's not fun. And I listed everything I like to do. And she said, that's not fun. And this is someone who, likes to go out and just do whatever, each week. You know what I mean? And my thing was, this summer I had a lot of fun. Right. And I don't feel a little bit bad about it. Like, because that work that I put in, it got me the internship. It got me, and the internship paid the way for me to, even the putting in the work to do the art exhibit and then having that time this summer to go to, Greece, Turkey, Canada, Costa Rica.
It's a big thing.
Yeah. Now, and that's what celebration looks like.
Yeah.
That's how you can have the grand gesture of celebration, not this whole like go out every weekend because, you got an A on a test or something. I mean, whatever you got to, just because you got a little,
Yeah.
I woke up, this one I went to the gym 3 times this week. So let me, go and.
That's really motivating. Bro.
Yeah.
I want to celebrate like that, and I feel like lots of people want to celebrate that way.
Got to throw the instant gratification away, like.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying you do whatever, anyone do whatever they want.
Oh, for sure,
if that's what you're into, that's what you're into. But
I'll say that
if you lock in, it will pay off.
So it was a lot of staying at home, locking in, and keeping your head down. Stemming from my point, I feel like people. Or us in general, like major society in general, we always have that fear of missing out on things, right? So how have you been able to lock in and just keep your head down and not worry about, I should be at this place at the right time? My friends are hanging out with each other and things of that nature. Like, how do you get over the fear of missing out? And do you have a FOMO?
Yeah, so I think that part of the thing with the fear of missing out is that I definitely took a lot of time to ask myself tough questions. I took time to, figure out what do I really enjoy and what stuff is kind of, do I not enjoy? What things am I just doing because other people are doing it? Part of that is like getting over the fear of being alone. Being alone, yeah. Like I think a lot of people, and whether they want to call it a fear, classify it as a something they don't want to get over.
Yeah.
Or they even say that you should always be around people. People are good. You just want to have people around you all the time. That's great for energy. But unless you sit down with yourself, and unless you can sit down with yourself and really, like listen to your own thoughts, you know what I mean? And that's when you'll get you'll understand peace. Like when you get used to peace, having and peace within your own thoughts and things like that. Yeah. Then you'll stop needing to be around people to put things in, substances in your body, to get your mindset to be different than its normal state. Like that's when, you can kind of, exit away from it. So I personally, and my thing is also, it was mine was forced. I wasn't like, when I was in high school, my best friends were seniors when I was a junior. They graduated, and then my other friends were sophomores. Yeah. So I didn't really see them throughout classes. So I was like forced to be alone, like by myself. You know what I mean? And that's, people are not going to choose that. Like, there's a lot of people I can guarantee have never gone a minute without talking to someone of the opposite sex. Like so without talking to some girl or some guy, right when, even when you're about to stop talking to someone, you're, kind of on to the next, it's like you always have other people in your head and and it's hard to look outside the box. So
we naturally do that as we.
It's not a problem, but
yeah, I feel that.
That's the way to, I prefer, it got to a point I prefer to sit in my crib on a Saturday night.
Just watching Madea.
Yeah.
Just watching.
We'll say Madea. Yeah, I'd prefer to sit and watch Madea on a Saturday night than go out.
I love that. I think, just really asking yourself the tough questions. Yeah. Learning how to be by yourself so you don't realize, like, oh, I should be here every time. Yeah. Because some people are really battling with that. We as humans naturally want to be around people.
Absolutely.
And if we feel like we're not around people, it's like, oh, we're by ourselves.
Yeah, we're like
together.
And it's also you gotta ask yourself, what are you missing out on? Like truly, like what would happen that you can't get again? Like if you say like, okay, the party, it's gonna be a million parties. Like I've missed out on a million parties, and I can guarantee if I wanted to, the party next Saturday. Yeah. Right. If it's maybe if you classify it as a girl, right? Ask yourself how many times you gone to a party and you got with a girl and it's just worked out perfectly. Exactly. Like how many, what is it that you're really missing out on? Break that down. And just ask yourself, why do you feel like you're missing out on it? Just ask yourself the tough questions. But yeah, until someone gives me a real reason as to why,
that's a
you can't miss out on a party. Then
I like that question. You can always miss out on a party, guys.
Or just anything.
Yeah, I would say there's a lot with the youth. A lot with the youth going on nowadays. Like I feel like what happened to your hair, man? Before you had Locs, right?
Yeah.
And Locs are becoming a trend nowadays in the youth. Yeah. So with this generation, like with the Locs, why'd you cut your Locs? Do you feel like it deterred you from professional growth? Did it deter you from your personal image, your brand? Like, why'd you take off your Locs, and ultimately did it deter you when you had Locs?
That's a really interesting question. And it's interesting because I don't believe it deters anything. The reason, so I had freeform dreads when I was in high school, and then I cut them to go down to waves, and then I went from waves to, I think I had twists to plaits, and then plaits to braids. Yeah. And so at first it was like I liked changing my hair because it defined new moments in my life. I was gonna end up writing a book as to how my hair kind of transcends with how my life is. So like the dreads, to me, because I had freeform dreads, that was just like I was wild. I was just I was letting things go. I wasn't, there was no structure to my kind of life. It was just like I was just learning, gaining experiences, just doing things, and that was my freeforms. I hear it. When I was on the way to VCU, I cut everything. Fresh start, new person, right? And that was a point in life where it was like, okay, no more soccer. Who are you, right? Now we're growing to that. then that's when it's like, okay, now we done gone through the wild part. We done gone through the new phase.
Exactly.
Let's organize things, right? Let's twist the hair up. I mean, let's put some organizational structure up in this thing. And the plaits came in, and that was great. And then it was like, now with this, it's kind of like going back to, you know, who I was, because like I still have the hair, like it's still there.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still in here, but it's like, you know, it's kind of, you know, kind of laid back, more organized. It's in there. I could take it, you know, take the hair if I need to, but you know, I got it, you know, in the back now. So I don't think that it deters you from personal situations. I don't look at anything like that. That's just my personal opinion.
Okay.
I'll never look at, say like a company, or, you know, say I don't get a job, or say I don't get a position, say I don't get, someone doesn't like me. I'm never gonna put it on like, you know, society and how they view hair, like, oh, they must not like me because I'm this or that and the third. I'll never look at it that way.
That's good.
So I believe that I can do, you know, I can have the hair that I want, and as long as I am me, then I'm gonna be able to receive.
I think hair is so important to us. You know, we as society, I think everybody loves, you know, not everybody has hair everywhere, you know what I mean? But I feel like hair is something that's personal to us because we grew up with it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, personal.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. All right. So, you know, back to my point, like looking back on your journey and everything, like everything you've done, right? What would you do different?
What would I do different? To be honest, nothing. I think that the point, and I think that the reason I can confidently say that, and I couldn't even sit here and try to tell you something I do different, is because, again, I don't dwell on it. You know, I don't dwell on the past. Like, and for me to be stuck in wanting something to be different would me still be stuck in the past and trying to fix something that I can't. And I think not too many people, but I think individuals do struggle with, and I definitely struggled with it for a minute, you know, trying to, being upset with the past, or trying to, you know, change things that it's like, you'll never be able to change that. If there's one thing in life you can't change, it's the past. So it's the best to create a solution, you know, learn from it. You can sit there and think about it just so you know what to do next time. You know what I mean? I touched the hot stove, so I won't touch it next time. But you sitting there like, oh man, I just beat yourself up about the fact that you touched the hot stove and that you go up and be mad at stoves all day. Yeah, it's not a healthy way of living.
That's definitely true.
Yeah.
So just you can't change the past.
Absolutely.
Just keep moving forward.
Would you change the past?
I wouldn't change a thing. I would still have the same family, still have the same experiences, because I know, like, right now where I'm taking it day by day, like, if I keep putting my head down, working hard, going through experiences, not everything in life's gonna be easy. So I just gotta understand, like, I'm gonna have phases where it's easy, some phases where it's hard, some phases where it's in the middle. But as long as I keep working hard to be where I want to be in life and keep my peoples close, God got me.
Absolutely.
You feel me? So, Thomas, man, back to wrap it up, man. We always wrap up our podcasts with, you know, quick fire questions. And these questions, man, just answer like with like a phrase or a sentence, you know, to close it off. Don't make it short, quick fire, boom, boom, like, you know. Like,
okay, quick fire. Yeah.
You feel me? Okay. So, my first question for you is, what is the key to motivation?
There isn't one. Can you explain? It's a quick fire question.
Okay, quick. Just do it.
Quick explanation?
Yeah, quick explanation.
I don't think there's a key to motivation, because I don't want to glorify motivation either, because I don't think you should wait for motivation. I think discipline outweighs motivation 10 times out of 10. If you wait your entire life for, you know, something to spark you to be motivated, to feel motivated, that is something external that can be taken away at any time, right? If you need to listen to something to get motivated every time, that can be taken away. You know, I mean, that's like you're waiting for an external factor. But if I say I need to wake up at this time every day and I'm disciplined, I'm gonna do it. I don't need motivation.
Okay.
No key to it.
What's your favorite type of art?
Photography.
Okay. All right. What advice would you give to someone at rock bottom? You know, like I know you mentioned you had a tough past with everything like that. So what would you give to that person? What would you give to that former person? Quick fire. Pow, pow.
I would say you don't know what you don't know. That's a really good question.
It can be
cool. The best teacher. I say the best teacher in life, or the best teacher in life is life and experience.
Thank you, Thomas. It's been a pleasure, man, to have you on the podcast. Guys, if you have enjoyed this podcast, please like the video and subscribe. I'm going to put Thomas's Instagram and title channels over here. I'll put his business up here as well. Thomas, man, it's been a pleasure learning from you. I think everybody's going to learn something from this podcast.
Absolutely.
And we at home as well. We enjoyed watching this podcast with you guys. Thank you for watching Behind Closed Door Podcast. See you next time. Peace.